The first thing I want to share with you is something that I read in a devotional 2 days ago that confirmed exactly what I wanted to talk about today. It talks specifically about authenticity, transparency, friendships, and relationships. Authentic relationships are more than superficial, surface-level chit-chat. They involve genuine, heart-to-heart, sometimes gut-level sharing. These relationships develop when we get honest about who we are and what is happening in our lives. They develop when we share our hurts, reveal our feelings, confess our failures, disclose our doubts, admit our fears, acknowledge our weaknesses, and ask for help, sometimes prayers. Unfortunately, this level of authenticity and intimacy is the exact opposite of what we find ourselves in on a daily basis. Instead of the atmosphere of honesty and humility, we often become involved in pretending, role-playing, politicking, superficial politeness, and shallow conversations. We're not having any of those tonight, guys. We begin to wear masks, we keep our guard up, we act as if everything is rosy in our lives. These attitudes are the death of real relationships. It's only as we become open about our lives that we experience authentic relationships. The world thinks intimacy occurs in the dark, but it happens in the light. We tend to use darkness to hide our hurts, faults and fears, failures and flaws. But in true authenticity and without masks, we can bring them all to the open and admit who we really, really are. This is the way we grow, develop, and become emotionally healthy. I was an actor for 8 years. I put on my own masks. I was the jock in high school. I was the tomboy with the boys. All the fellas loved me, but nobody dated me. Everybody thought I was just the coolest, the realest, but yet the reality was I had no idea who I was. I was playing a role. I was given a script. I was given this life that I was supposed to live. I was forced to be someone that I was not. I thought I was mysterious, but in reality I just had no clue. I was also given this role by the master manipulator, the master actor that I ever experienced, who in my life is known as my stepfather. On the outside, my stepfather was a man who the community loved. He was a therapist. He was the gentleman that presented out to everyone that he was good. People loved him, or did they love the mask that he wore and the role that he portrayed? Because in our house, my stepfather was a psychological, emotional, and sexual abuser. But that's not the story I'm telling y'all today. The story I'm sharing with you all today is about how I learned to become the woman that I am today. How I learned what authenticity really was. The first example comes from a former female friend. She is the perfect example of an actor. She acted like she could cook, even though she literally thought washing chicken off meant using soap. Be careful, gentlemen. She acted like she enjoyed any sport if the guy she was interested in was a fan. She acted like she wasn't argumentative or that she didn't have any opposing opinions because she didn't want to scare anybody away. You get where I'm going with who she was, right? She was the biggest actress I ever met. One day, my open and opinionated, non-mask wearing self got into what I perceived was a friendly, authentic banter about track and field with the current man that she was dating. After the experience, I later asked her if the guy had friends. He's fun, his friends must be fun. She told me that she would introduce me if, quote, I would introduce you if you bring the other out of me gay. I asked her, did he have a problem with the trash talking we exchanged? Did he not like me telling him that he was slow and that the 40 was not a race? For those of you who know track and field, it is not a race. It's not. Don't let anyone tell you this. She said that it wasn't him. He didn't say anything. She told me that it actually was her. She didn't feel comfortable introducing me to his friends if I was going to be so aggressive. At this point, I knew our friendship shifted into what was called the potential of no return. I felt so misunderstood, judged, offended, and I was very angry. I questioned her understanding of me and realized that she was only comfortable with the quiet, introspective me. She said she had the nerve to tell me one day, "No man is going to want you if you're so aggressive and you talk back all the time." I like to believe that the right man is going to want and love my quiet, introspective self and my aggressive, passionate self equally. That's just me. I hope all of y'all think the same. But she got me to thinking about myself, and my 27-year-old brain internalized that moment and created a major existential crisis. Oh my God, nobody's gonna understand me, nobody's gonna love me, she might be right, I've always been told I'm too aggressive. I freaked out. But now that I'm in my 30s, I begin to wonder more about how I'm presenting myself to the world and how others are presenting themselves to me. Why have I heard on numerous occasions directly about me, sometimes when I eavesdrop on other women's conversations, this idea that you must put a face out there at first, and then maybe let them see the real face after commitment, if you ever show who you really are. What the fuck?
Exactly.
What the fuck? Like,
No,
really?
exactly.
Who does that? What are we accomplishing by hiding our truest selves? What kind of guy would I have gotten if I listened to this former friend or played the roles that were laid out for me? Recently, I was dating a guy. The same issue came up. I had the unusual opportunity to ask him after we ended our interactions, what behavior did I participate in that prevented him from being able to commit to me? He said, to an average guy, you're too much. You're too open. Like, I want you to be transparent, but only when I ask you to be. Since I'm 35 now and not 27, I didn't get mad nor internalize what he said. I learned that my transparency is my authenticity. I realized that I didn't want anyone in my life that was average, male or female.
Yes.
I told this gentleman, being transparent and open are the foundations to developing romantic intimacy and real friendships. Who wants to pretend all the time? Who wants to only talk about the good shit all the time? He replied, to you, Adenike, being transparent is the foundation. I was able to hear him in that moment. He's right. To me, it is the foundation. I was able to see that he's just an actor. He is still wearing all of his masks. This gentleman and my former friend and all the people that I've encountered that never understood all my transparency are still wearing masks. They are role-playing, they are still politicking, they are reading lines from a script and acting their damn asses off. Through these interactions and a few others, I've learned how to stop auditioning for parts in people's lives and begun to embrace my truest, authentic self. Whose script are you reading for your life? Because I learned the true meaning of keeping it real, not by being an actress.